Greetings, viewers, and welcome to Part 2 of our Darkest Dungeon Vanilla Hero tier list. Catch up on Part 1 if you haven't seen it already, link in the description, and then come along with us as we continue the rankings.
I'm wide awake. This time I borrowed some of the adrenochrome that Al Gore got from the apprentice, Hag. There's no way I'm going to let Donald bulldoze us into nonsensical rankings like he did in Episode 1.
Stop simping for the Vestal bro, she's never gonna let you sniff. Do we really have to start with the Antiquarian? Dump her in poor tier and move on.
She's poor tier in combat, but she's an amazing tier moneymaker. I would have thought a businessman such as yourself would appreciate that.
More proof that without a small loan of $1 million from his daddy, this guy would be nothing. The Antiquarian isn't great in combat, but far from a detriment if utilized properly, as she has a decent little support kit. Considering her primary objective is bringing home that bag, I think she still manages to be useful enough in combat.
The benefit of this class is completely replaced by the bank, though. By the time you hit veteran missions, you're ready to put her in the PC like a Pidgey and never think about her ever again. She has one niche, and it's a temporary one. How can you say she deserves to be in tiers alongside other heroes who are useful long-term? Even the Vestal, boring as she may be, is still useful all game.
She's weak, but not useless, Donald. Her skill positioning requirements are almost completely free, so you can fit her in any rank. She can heal and buff .resist with fortifying vapors, while invigorating vapors can make Houndmaster dodge tanking hilariously effective, and using the Force Guard of Protect Me on a man-at-arms to bolster his tanking, or a Highwayman to increase the chances he has to riposte, can be a legitimately effective strategy.
Flash Powder is nice as a de-stealth and accuracy debuff, since many dangerous units like the Pelagic Shaman and Wheel Crones begin battles stealthed in veteran dungeons onward, and don't have very high base accuracy to begin with, so debuffing it further can be a pretty effective way of avoiding their stress attacks.
Sure, you can make it work, but you're still gimping your party's combat effectiveness by taking her. The best way to utilize her is spamming her early on between weeks 10 through 30 in Apprentice dungeons, where your level 1 and 2 heroes can carry her, build up a big stack of gold for the bank, and then banishing her to the Shadow Realm to spend all of eternity alongside Hillary's email server.
Keep my name out of your goddamn mouth before you get Cheeto dust all over it. Let me solve this argument for you so you can move on. The Antiquarian deserves decent tier. Yes, she's the weakest hero in combat, but as someone who has indiscriminately killed hundreds of people for the sake of getting that bag, I appreciate that she is a godsend to the Hamlet's cash flow. Her camping skills are weak, and yes, it's easy to forget about her once you have the bank, but some meme strategies with her are fun and effective even in champion dungeons. You two grow some balls and stand up to Donald. I'm not going to keep bailing you out when he tries to cram his trash takes down your throats.
As you wish, O Maniacal One.
Okay, fine, let's just move on. Next is our first candidate for the pay-to-win tier, the Shieldbreaker. Wait, our editor didn't add the pay-to-win tier? Guy is really slipping. If he was on The Apprentice, his ass would have been fired weeks ago.
Yeah, Red Hook thought they were slick adding in this busted-ass character as paid DLC. She's a frontliner with the speed of a jester, has 2 attacks that can hit any rank, one of which has full armor piercing and high crit. She can blight, bypass stealth, pull, break guard, and sure up her only real weakness being her max HP, with Serpent Sway to generate 2 goddamn blocks and buff her speed.
Yeah, similar to the Highwayman, there's no situation, region, or boss fight where she doesn't perform extremely well. She can block the Swing Kings, obliterate masses, and profits Rubble of Ruin with Serpent Sway or Aegis Scales. Impale is great for setting up AoE dots on the flesh. Her armor-piercing obliterates the Drowned Anchormen. The Blight of Adder's Kiss and Captivate work great on bosses with multiple actions, the latter of which lets her work in marking parties also. Her Omni-Reach lets you comfortably take down all the bosses where targeting freedom is a priority, like the Hag, and Brigand Pounder, and she can break the guard of any Pelagic Guardians who try and protect the Siren.
All that crit means she will frequently have her crit bonus of plus 15% protection, further mitigating her only weakness. Her nightmares can be challenging the first go-round, but Aegis Scales, providing you the means of giving blocks to any hero, is extremely powerful, especially since you can store them in the Hamlet and take them to future missions like the Blood.
She also has great class-specific trinkets that can bolster her offenses or sure up her defenses, depending on your preference, so you can save your general-use trinkets for other heroes. The only thing she doesn't have much access to naturally is accuracy trinkets, but that's not a difficult problem to solve outside of the first 10 or so weeks of your campaign.
Okay enough glazing, she's easily one of, if not outright the most powerful and well-equipped hero in the game. Since there isn't a pay-to-win tier, she will have to settle for amazing tier.
Gotta love overpowered DLC. As a gamer, I don't like this tendency from developers, but as a businessman, I can't be too mad. Get that bag, Red Hook. At least she has a fun design and kit, even if it is a bit busted.
S-tier fun, but probably D-tier balance. A classic approach to DLC design.
Next up is the Bounty Hunter, a marked target executioner who works well anywhere. You can fit him into marking parties between rank 3 and rank 1. His base damage is really unimpressive, but his bonuses against human, stunned, and especially marked targets are huge, letting him ramp up his damage output to disgusting levels with the right support.
I'm a bit mixed on him, like the Arbalist. His upfront damage range is sad for a damage dealer, and the Coven Ruins have far less human enemies than the Warrens in Weald, so he really relies on other heroes setting up marks and stuns for him to deal acceptable damage. He can set up his own marked damage boost with Marked for Death and Come Hither, and has two pretty nice stuns in Uppercut and Flashbang, but at that point, I'd rather just attack twice with a different hero than spend a turn setting up and then attacking once with the Bounty Hunter.
What makes him better than the Arbalist, in my opinion, a class we definitely should have put into decent tier if I'm being honest, is that the Bounty Hunter is a bit more free with his positioning, working great from the front 3 ranks. Come Hither, Flashbang, and Caltrops also provide some options and shuffle protection if he gets pushed to rank 4.
I rank the Arbalist with my heart, not my head, alright? Besides, after seeing you commies put the Antiquarian in decent tier, I really don't value your opinions all that much. The Bounty Hunter is a bit squishy for rank 1, but I frequently use him there, as Uppercut, Stun, and Move combo essentially works out to a 2-turn stun on Cultist Brawlers and Fungal Scratchers, which is very powerful. You can get the same effect with the shuffle from Flashbang, it's just a little less reliable. Flashbang a Bone Courtier or Pelagic Shaman out of rank 4 and all the way up to rank 1 where they are useless is pretty hilarious.
I do like that you can stick him in rank 2 and make him a one-stop shop for all of your stun needs between Uppercut and Flashbang, and he's just speedy enough that with the right quirks and trinkets he can pull it off against most stress units that don't begin battles stealthed. Throw in Come Hither or Caltrops and you can run a pretty interesting, if probably suboptimal, disruption-focused set that gives him another playstyle aside from stacking damage bonuses and hitting big numbers.
All that is cool, and he has some good camping skills to boost scouting, improve odds of favorable surprise rolls, and boost his own accuracy and critical. But unlike the Shieldbreaker, he generally ends up reliant on general use trinkets since his own class-specific trinkets aren't that great. Hate plus food consumed is a downside for Hunter's talent since it eats up inventory space and can really punish you if you do the math wrong or hit a hunger check you aren't anticipating, and Wounding Helmet neuters his support skills in favor of just mashing collect bounty over and over. His Crimson Court set would be good if it provided any accuracy to his melee skills, and he has a useful but really bland Color of Madness trinket.
Not being able to do the math on food requirements is a skill issue, old man, but I agree with some of your other points about his downsides. He doesn't dominate on his own in the same way as the amazing tier heroes, but his positioning in the party is pretty free, and access to a support-oriented kit makes him more interesting to bring along than a Vestal. Like most Mark heroes, he doesn't perform quite as well against bosses with multiple actions, but he can beat down the Swing King and Prophet, and isn't bothered much by bosses like the Hag, Siren, and Drowned crew who manipulate party positioning. I think good tier is pretty fair.
Next, we have the Grave Robber, and well, I'll let you guys go first on this one.
Let's see. A squishy, damage-oriented class with a poor damage range who can't hit rank 4 with her most powerful skill necessitates dancing to be any good whatsoever. Shadow Fade is cool, but spending a turn to buff up is time that another class could be attacking or stunning instead. And her ranged attacks are extremely mid outside of Poison Dart, having a 4-round blight duration, which is higher than the usual 3 and lets her do good against multiple action bosses like the Siren, I guess. Her class-specific trinkets are flaming garbage outside of Raider's Talisman and Letter Opener, and even then, the former reduces HP and the latter is a Crimson Court trinket. So good luck getting it. It's neat to do solo Grave Robber shenanigans, but this class is otherwise undercooked.
Another terrible take. She has full armor piercing on pick to the face so she can whittle down targets with high protection. Thrown Dagger lets her hit rank 4 and pairs nicely with marking heroes or a Plague Doctor, and she has Scouting Chance and disease removal camping skills.
Having to bring up camping skills this early on isn't a good sign, Joe. Her low damage range and negative 15% modifier and low crit modifier on pick to the face means it's a really poor skill unless the enemy unit has tons of protection. especially compared to the Shieldbreaker's Pierce, which fulfills the same role but is infinitely better. If you park her in rank 4 and throw daggers, sure, she is speedier than other rank 4 damage dealers, but her damage and accuracy is worse than that of an Arbalest who also has off-healing, and she lacks the support skills and versatility of the Houndmaster, plus the letter opener only works on melee skills.
Right, so the vast majority of the time you're just using her to lunge early on, then she's a bit of a liability given she hits death's door if anyone coughs in her direction. I know that having her solo entire dungeons with Shadow Fade stealth trolling is fun for the memes, but given her other skills are so weak without spending a turn on Shadow Fade, I'd rather get my DPS elsewhere.
Gotta be one grave robber stan watching this video who can back me up.
I got you, Joey. The grave robber is pretty, poisoned her abusive husband, which means she's dangerous, and isn't afraid to get her hands dirty, rooting around a corpse like you and I in order to get that bag. She could ruin my life any day of the week. An easy, amazing tier.
Bill, take your sleazy ass to the Hamlet brothel and stay out of the chat, please.
You don't have to ask me twice.
With the innocence of the chat restored, Grave Robber is going in decent tier. She isn't bad, necessarily, and you can do some cool things with her, but ultimately, she has enough downsides I don't think we can let Lunge and Shadow Fade memes carry her any higher than that.
Total nonsense. Your taste sucks.
Put together your own tier list for the channel, and you can make the final decisions for it. Plus, Barack has agreed with me so far. Nice to see a Democrat other than Fetterman willing to go against the party line.
I'm trying to referee, you asshats. Do not bring politics into this. Next up is another DLC class, the Flagellant, a bleed-focused and frail frontliner who has powerful skills if near death.
He's very frail for the front line, doesn't work well in the ruins, and to a lesser extent the Cove. His camping skills only target himself, the selfish bastard, and Deathblow Resist is a goddamn myth.
Can't believe I'm about to do this, but I agree with Joe. Deathblow Resist is fake news, and as someone who exclusively plays on Blood Moon, there's no way I want to take the additional risk of trying to yo-yo this guy's HP off of death's door in hopes I don't catch a stray dot that puts him in the ground for good.
Deathblow Resist is absolutely a Red Hook psyop, there's no question about that. However, let's not be too hasty here, gentlemen. The Flagellant has lots of really powerful tricks up his sleeve that make his initial frailty worth playing around. First off, between Punish and Reign of Sorrows, he can harass any rank, something not all frontliners are capable of. Both skills also reduce enemy bleed resist, so his bleed is perfectly viable against most things that aren't ruined skeletons, which are easy enough to deal with anyway, let's be honest.
I do appreciate that you can use Endure to absorb some stress from a teammate, then use Lash's Soulless at camp to stress heal a large amount from the Flagellant, but if you mess up managing his stress, he is guaranteed to get the unique Rapturous Affliction, and while it does boost his damage and speed nicely, it just simply isn't worth the Affliction act-outs, party stress, and friendly fire that comes with it.
And the furtive skill issue, so easily forgotten. Look, the Flagellant also has great self-sustain and off-healing to mitigate his low base survivability. Reclaim bestows restoration at the cost of a potential bleed on the Flagellant, who has the highest bleed resist in the game, by the way. Should he fall below 40% HP, Exsanguinate is a huge self-heal and the most powerful single attack dot in the game with 9 bleed per round at rank 5. Or you can use Redeem to heal himself and an ally for a big chunk of their max HP. Just don't take him to the Siren. I had him use Redeem on the Siren one time. I can confirm it was no fun at all.
Obama loudly holding an L like he's one of those car wash sign spinners. Aside, I do think the Flagellant has a unique play style, and that does make him more interesting than a class like the Vestal, and he has some very powerful skills, even if some are locked behind a 40% health gate and limited uses.
I don't disagree that he's powerful if used properly. He's just not my playstyle. I'm not trying to fool around with a stress-absorbing, guaranteed affliction-getting Death Door denizen on the front line with 38 max HP. I'll defer to Barry's judgment on this one, since he seems to have a better understanding of the class than myself.
The Flagellant is going in good tier. I kind of want to put him in amazing, but I recognize that he's everyone's cup of tea, and his reliance on bleed to have an offensive presence as a frontliner does limit his usage a bit. He must be in the front ranks to attack, so pushes and shuffles are troublesome, and he doesn't quite dominate the battlefield in the same way as the other amazing tier heroes.
What's good, playa?
Joe, I think I need some help out here. The caretaker got cut off at the bar because he was pissed drunk. Then the saw hunter, who has been bouncing at the tavern lately, threw him out. And now he's running around the town square with his shirt off, trying to fight everyone who makes eye contact with him while shouting, quote, "I thought this was America, Hamlet." like he's Randy Marsh. Not to mention, Kamala landed herself back in the infirmary after she busted her ass trying to learn one of Cuppy's insane breakdance moves. Gore is trying to train his pet bird to take a shit on anyone who isn't using a paper straw, and I'm pretty sure the Hexer has been instigating all of it after he ran out of pot brownies and crashed out and started passing out voodoo dolls of everyone in town. It's like trying to run a fucking daycare, except instead of trying to corral snot-nosed brats, it's a bunch of grown-ass, fucking degenerate, crack-headed politicians.
Can't the one above all take care of it? We are kind of busy.
Nope, I already tried that. Bill showed Hillary the drinking out of cups video earlier, and now her new favorite saying is, quote, "Not my chair, not my problem."
Oh, God damn it. Well, folks, this wasn't initially planned as a three-parter, but it sounds like the Hamlet is a goddamn shit show without us. If you want to catch up on all of our Darkest Dungeon antics, check out our President's Play Darkest Dungeon series linked in the description.
We appreciate all likes, comments, and especially subscribers, so if you had a good time, why not feed our AI overlords so our content reaches more people like you?
I hope you have better luck than me when it comes to passing resolve checks this week.
See you next time, folks.